Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks who sponsors this beautiful podcast.
Lance, it is good to be with you this January 7th for the Wanna Parlay podcast. People, you guessed it, the Wanna Parlay podcast is in fact brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay. That is home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. Carson, Jim Bob, James, Nicole, Sean, Homegirl Anna, Andy, you guys are the absolute best. You are this show's gasoline. Much appreciated. Good to be doing it. Good to be the face of Wanna Parlay. Lance, I love doing Tuesday shows, man. Fun times to be able to celebrate Wanna. We are just one day into our Wanna week, and a bunch of people have already put away a ton of money. We got a ton of special shout outs to hand out today. We're going to start with the pick'ems as always. Pick 6, who else but our boy Dialed Picks. He's coming on the show later today. Lance, not only was he first place, he was first, second, third, and fourth place. He won $1,700 in the pick 6 last night.
Wait, were they all the same parlay or were they all different?
Nope, different. Two were the same.
Okay, so
three
two
hitters,
but still
18-0, $1,700 just from the pick 6. New guy, Doorman, who was originally coming on the show today. We're hoping to get him back on for Thursday. Doorman wins $250. Also with our guy Thomas, by the way. Thomas was on the show yesterday, Toman27. If you want to go check out an account right now, the guy was humble as shit, but he's getting hot right now. He wins again, another $225 for Toman. It puts him up 2,225 the last 2 weeks, people. Got to check out. The pick 4, Doorman again, stay hot, kid, wins another 200. Dialed Picks, of course, shows up here again, gets himself another 175. Long Legs, we're getting tired of saying that name. Need you on the show, Viviana, gets 150. And then Corpse 22 is out there making some money as well. The Parlay Royale takes you $50 to get in this game, but you're playing for 1,000. Dialed Picks wins another 1K. That brings him up over 25K, people, if you're counting at home. Up over 25K. He's coming on the show later. We're stoked to have him back on. Doorman also wins 500 here, so Dialed Picks edged him out for the big prize. That's a quick $1,050 though for Doorman messing around on a Monday night. You just love to see it. And then the main event, we're going to be reaching out to Maria Trell 5, trying to get her on the show. Knocked out a 15-leg 78-pointer to open up the main event. Hot start for the young lady, guaranteed herself some good money won, and set a high bar, but achievable for the rest of us to chase all week. So something to check out right there. 78-pointer currently leading the main event. Plenty of time to go get it and still claim that $2,000 prize. And then before we get on to their show, a special reminder from our guy KG at Little Joe's in Chicago. This February 10th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you're in the Chicago area or possibly just in the continental United States, get your ass over to Little Joe's, where Wanna will be co-sponsoring the Drop Takeover. It is back and bigger than ever. Arthur and Bob are behind the bar pouring drinks and swapping stories. KG in the kitchen whipping up his famous jambalaya, beef sandwiches, and those insane Taylor Street sliders with ground Italian sausage topped with Italian beef. Good Lord, KG, go off right there. Get there, download Wanna Parlay, win some money, drink some tequila, have a slider, 9 of them. Thank you, Kev. We will indeed see you there. Lance, let's do the Wanna Parlay podcast, babe.
Let's go. First, we should start off with accountability time. And before we get into it, I just want to go ahead and say my parlay was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life because half my players didn't even play. That was ridiculous.
You laid a 6-leg parlay that immediately became just a quick 3-legger.
And it was brutal. And then I'll go through it quick just because it's so easy. Paul George, pathetic, miserable. He just retired. Go do your show. He's one of us. Like me and Paul George relate now more than we ever have in our lives. We're both hosts of a great podcast, and we both suck at basketball. So, that's good stuff. Glad I lost to you. Other DMPs. Cade Cunningham. How about that? 31.5 points and rebounds. That was the sole winner. The sole winner of this parlay. See, you just got to trust that he's going to score a lot of points. His shitty Trailblazers. There we go. And then Halliburton missed by half an assist, but that game was a blowout. So it was just tough to barely miss. And the rest, DNPs, I just looked stupid. It was just a stupid looking parlay. We're going to bounce back and be better today. Jack, go ahead. And you're on a roll, man. But give you a little fire, but go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Your DMPs were brutal because I was all over that D-Lo thing. We got all excited about it. And the guy didn't even lace him up last night. Halliburton, you get screwed in a lopsided game. Not a lot of assists in that game.
No,
it wasn't a lot of balls.
It was weird.
Joel Embiid's a coward. I can't root for him. He makes it impossible. And then Paul George, man, it'll be one of the more disappointing careers of my lifetime, which isn't his fault. I set a really high bar for him when he was balling up LeBron and that freaking Indiana team
dude
was shit, and it was freaking Lance Stevenson and freaking Roy Hibbert and like
little Danny Granger on the wing just knocking down. I mean, they had players on that team.
You know when I bailed on him was when he didn't come back to the Lakers. He's an LA guy. He went to Fresno State. He was just so a Laker, and he just wanted nothing to do with the bright lights. Went to Oklahoma City instead for a cup of coffee, then goes to Clipperland.
Yeah, that was garb. Honestly, like the legs, when he snapped his leg, that was tough. I mean, that's tough for anyone. That's tough for anyone's career. But he did bounce back and was top 3 in MVP when he was in OKC. So you really, I can't say that injury is the down course of his career. It seems like he started living in LA, making a lot of money. You're a star. You're one of the coolest people in like any place you go into. I mean, basketball, it's not that. I don't care that much anymore. He doesn't care. You know he doesn't care.
Yeah, you know what it is? He's got good work-life balance. He seems really happy.
He seems way too...
Like, the second Kobe got happy late in his career is when we stopped winning games in Lakerland.
Yeah.
That's exactly when it happened. You can't be happy and be a competitor. It just doesn't work that way.
Just a perfect way to say it. You got way too happy. I love that.
He's too goddamn happy. He's got everything going good. Why does he care? He's making money. We're just losing it on him.
Yep.
Okay, my picks. I lost one, and I stood on the table for it, and it was over early just because it became a lopsided game. We almost got overtime on a great comeback, but it's just not the game Montana State ever wants to play because they don't want to throw the ball 70% of the time. They want to throw the ball 40% of the time. So we lose the Montana State 3.5 versus North Dakota State. Was down 21-3 early. We were in a 3rd and 6, Lance, down 14-3, down 14-3, starting to feel good. And they go empty, and it was just the worst empty check ever. The Montana State played 2-man with 2 3-techs, nobody in the middle. Easiest quarterback draw ever, goes for 75. Absolutely sucks. And then if I can say this, we did really good work. Almost got the onside kick, got all the way back in the game, and then forced the punt. We were going to get at least 1, maybe 2 plays there at the end of the game. And they went all out on blocking the punt and put no returner back deep. And then the ball's just sitting on the ground as time expires. Drives me absolutely crazy. Those are my complaints. But nonetheless, I lose the bet. We win on everything else. Tommy Malotte's an absolute baller. He had 195 yards passing. 177 was the number. 94.5 yards rushing, by the way, for a quarterback in college football is a crazy line because they count sacks. NFL
you're right.
Sacks don't count against your rushing. College football sacks count against your rushing yards. So fucking this poor guy. I totally remember that in the first quarter going, I put this guy in an impossible position. No, Tommy Malott goes for 135 on the ground. I told you he's Julian Edelman. The guy's Julian Edelman. And then obviously the over hits pretty easily. We end up with a 35-32 game. NDSU goes on to win their 10th championship in 14 years. Holy shit. And then a couple of those guys flash for me. It's a fun little game, FCS football. I had a segment on here. Can you check really quick if DP's in our waiting room yet?
Yep, he is. You ready?
Yes, please.
Bring him in here. Dialed Picks, the man, the myth, the legend. Can you hear us? You're on mute and there's no camera, but I feel like you can hear my beautiful voice. There he is. Oh, yeah.
There he is. We got him back.
Hey.
Cade, what's going on, dude? How are we?
Oh, man. It's been a wild week.
Dude, you're telling me, by my count here, you just won another $2K over the weekend and then came back on a Monday night and won $2,700 last night. I'd say it's been a pretty good couple days.
Yeah, I'm already going through depression about football ending, man. I'm upset.
Yeah, well, that was good. That was what Lance and I have been sitting here saying. What is this guy? What's he going to next when football season ends? Are you going to be a basketball, a hockey guy? What do you got?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm on such a hot streak. Like basketball is my other sport, but I don't know, man. I think it's going to be harder. I don't think it's going to be, the same game. With football, I feel like I dial in a little bit more. Basketball, I got some studying to do.
Dom Picks, let me just tell you something. You really got football dialed in. You're up 25 grand in the past 2.5 months on a platform when you're not even a gambler yourself. So don't say I'm a little, don't pussyfoot. Come on, man. You're the guy. You're the MVP. You're the Hall of Famer. We're building statues outside our offices of just you with your big smile.
Bro, I swear, like
it's a generational run.
Generational.
Yeah. Can't make it up, man. Yeah, football's been crazy this season. Like,
so by the way, we're going in. We got 2 more weeks left of college football. We got 1 more month probably here of NFL football. What are you thinking going into the semifinals of college football, and then what are you thinking going into the NFL playoffs?
Man, Georgia let me down. I'm a Georgia boy, and the one time I bet with them, they let me down, man. So now it's such a good year. It's such a good year because it's spread out. There's not a dynasty anymore, and man, Ohio State looks strong. I gotta say that. If I had to say off rip, just what I've seen, but
dude, I went to that Rose Bowl. They were unbelievable. I was betting on Oregon all the day that day because I watched that game. I didn't even think Oregon gave them their best game when they played Knotson. I'm sitting there going, Oregon's been the best team all year. This is going to be easy.
Right.
It was 17-0 by the time I got to my seats.
Dude, that was a nightmare. That game was it ended. It didn't look as bad as it was like at the end, the score. But man, it started out bad.
Yeah, 41-21 or whatever that final score was does not tell the story at all. It could have been 100-0.
It saved them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a Georgia guy. I thought you had the Florida area code coming in on the phone number though. Are you a Florida guy right now?
Yeah. I'm in the Orlando area now. I've lived here all my 20s, but I grew up in Georgia. I'm from Georgia.
Are you a Magic guy then? Or are you a Hawks guy?
That's what I'm saying. Basketball, I don't follow as harder as much. I love to cheer for the Falcons and the Bulldogs, man.
Yeah.
But as far as basketball, I've been to a couple Magic games, so kind of, I might turn the tides and I'll go with the Magic.
Well, all of a sudden, I was looking at the standings. Magic are in kind of a fun spot. I'm kind of coming on that bandwagon for the back half of the season because it's fun. You guys have been rolling with the second unit all year because of the injuries, and they're winning. So all of a sudden, you get Franz, and you get Banchero back, and you get all these boys. You got a little team there.
They're hungry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, kid. It was super understandable when you said you weren't that into basketball because you've been in Orlando for your 20s because they've just been pathetic for probably all your 20s, maybe even our entire lifetimes. But now might be the time you got to flip a little because they got someone special in Banchero over there. I mean, he's a real player.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
It's definitely time to switch tunes to basketball now as football's wrapping up. I hate to say it, but hey, man, on to another chapter. So
you're coming in with all the humility and humbleness in the world, but I'm gonna see it before I believe it. I think this hot streak year is just going to continue. It's just your year. If I could die and come back as Dialed Picks in 2024, let me hit that button. That's who I want to come back as.
Hey, man, it was unbelievable, man. I'm not gonna lie. I had a rough beginning of the year, so I'm thankful, man. Very thankful to end the year like that, and man,
absolutely incredible.
Keep going.
2025 is going to continue to roll on for you, Cade. I know we're stealing you in the middle of a busy work week, so I got one more question, then we'll let you go.
You're good. You're good.
Now you got too much money. All this money can't be going to just responsible activities. Some of this has to be going towards some fun. What do you got going on? Where's all this money now that you're at 25K going?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna treat myself. There's some trips I've been wanting to take. Just got my passport recently. And I want to explore, man. I'm 30 now. I want to see the world. I want to, have experiences. As I get older, the more I value like travel and experiences and seeing things. So definitely to treat myself to a nice trip. And besides that, man, just saving, investing. I'm into stocks and stuff too. So,
it's a nice little nest egg. Now you get to take some big time positions here. That's awesome.
Yeah. No kidding, man.
Dude. That's awesome, though. Congrats. We'll have to check in with you when you're on the travels and doing all that stuff. And if you're paying for hotel rates, Lance and I are great travel companions. We'll come around.
Yeah.
We're losing money while you're making it, but we'll come.
Yeah, I was gonna tell y'all too. I forgot to mention it on the last stream, but when I was in Kansas City at the game, when we touched down, I realized that I couldn't actually bet in that state, but I was right there on the state line. So me and my buddy on the main event Sunday before the game, we rented scooters and went to Kansas State, the state, and put our bets in, and then came back.
Love
It was
that
like a
so
mile
much.
ride on the scooters.
Had to get across state lines over there. Didn't you win that main event too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I forgot to tell you guys that story.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is incredible. You and your buddy just hop on scooters, probably bird scooter, just fly to the state
On the
line.
birds, you can't make it up.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
Bird owes us a kickback, man. We're getting you paid.
It's insane. It's insane, man.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Absolutely awesome.
Awesome.
Well, Cade, you're the coolest guy ever, dude. We're stoked. Anytime we can get you on the show, we want you. You're going to be winning again, I'm sure, later this week. So I'll be bugging you again on Thursday. But you're the absolute best, dude.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Later, buddy.
Keep winning,
Appreciate
brother.
you.
See you guys later.
What a guy.
Once again, if you're on the show, if you've been on the show before, you've heard us talk about this guy at length. If you've ever even used Wana, the chances are you've been frustrated coming in this guy's dust, coming in being this guy's second fiddle. But paid dialed picks just turned in one of the great 2.5 months runs of all time. Lance and I are considering doing a small little documentary series on the kid. But just turned 30. He's going to travel the world now on Wana's dime. Pretty sweet stuff right there.
That's incredible. I mean, I love the fact that he's winning the money and he's not doing anything stupid. He's not just blowing it. He's like, you know what? I've learned to actually value and learn from experiences. I actually am going to invest this money into stocks and take a nice vacation instead of just, go to the strip club and casinos and see what I can do. See if I can double my fortunes.
I'll tell you, going into the sports season, Lance, a lot of these stories kind of fell on their face, right? Like the Jets were a little bit of a big expectations. At least it was going to be a fun ride. And the whole thing kind of sucked. The NBA this year are devoid of any kind of sports stories I can wrap my arms around. Like for the most part, like short of Klay Thompson going back and losing to the Warriors, I'm just begging for good stories. And then you get Cade to come on in the back 2 months of 2024 and totally save the year for me. I mean, what an easy guy to root for. You know, another good sports story is that fucking FCS football game last night, Lance, which before we brought Kate on, that's why I wanted to spend some time talking about that for a second. Because it ties into some of what we've been talking about on the show, where we've been talking about some of our problems with the postseason for FBS.
Yeah.
So FCS championship last night was absolutely awesome. They've been working with the same postseason format, Lance, since basically 1986. 86, they started with 16 teams, and then they've expanded to 20 and then 24 officially in 2013 as like they've basically taken on more teams. FCS was only like 80 teams back then. Now it's as big as FBS. It's like 133 or something like that. But 2014 format, they go no conference championship games, and the season ends the first week of January. The semifinals get done before Christmas, and then all the kids get to go have Christmas. They get the 3-week break. They get 2 weeks of practice to get ready for the national championship game. All the games are hosted home games, and then you get the neutral site national championship. Zero problems. And you get some blowouts during the playoff games, absolutely, like we've seen in the first round of the expanded playoff of FBS football. But I tell you what, I'm watching last night's game, Lance. It featured 2 senior quarterbacks in Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller. These guys both finished 1 and 2 in the Walter Payton Award, respectively. That's the equivalent of the Heisman Award in FCS football. We get a 35-32, almost an all-world comeback from Montana State. They scored in their opening 3 drives the second half to cut it to 3, and then all of a sudden we got 18 minutes of just awesome football. And then meanwhile, so we get that game. Meanwhile, in the FBS, it's been good, and I think people overly complained. Complaints have been one of the biggest problems. We've had them across the board, and they've continued. Lane Kiffin was still going on after his bowl game about how the SEC and all this shit. Obviously, the ACC gets 2 teams, and it's been dog shit in the postseason, but still. One thing, too, no one's talking about, Lance. Not one quarterback in the playoff was invited to New York. One quarterback in the playoff. Dylan Gabriel wasn't in the was he in New York?
Yeah, he was the 4th quarterback. Remember, we didn't want him there. We didn't want him there.
You're right. You're right. It was him instead of Shador, but Shador was in the building.
We wanted either Shador, Daly, or Scatabo, and now my final it should have been Scatabo. That guy's gnarly, but keep going. No, you're spot on.
So it's Gabriel, but we knew Gabriel wasn't even going to win. The only reason you don't put Shador is because you're going to split the vote with Travis Hunter. Like if you go to who's the draft board's coming up, it's Cam Ward and Shador. Dylan Gabriel's not slated to go until late if drafted at all. So it's been a weird year in that front where you're just like the NFL playoffs right now. This is where they get the leg up on college football. Look at all these quarterbacks we got going into the postseason right now. We got Prime, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar. Like these are going to be some all-world games. And we're just lacking some of that great quarterback play. I'm just watching that last night, just going, I'm so glad that both these things exist at once. Because I know FBS is going to get themselves figured out. All these things, it's just going to take more time than it should. But FCS football, God bless you. Because what it is, none of these guys transferred. So these quarterbacks got 4 years in the same system. And now they're operators and fucking players. Versus Drew Allar's got a new offensive coordinator this year. Will Howard's transferring in from Kansas State. New offense for everybody at Ohio State. He's getting it doubly because he's getting used to new guys and a new scheme. Like across the board, it's just good that we still have this because that was great football last night. And I had buddies texting me like, "Holy shit, I could play in this game." First of all, no, you couldn't. Second of all, that's kind of for me what makes it great. Like we had a fun crossroads where like you've got this wide canvas of talent. Some of these guys are going to have long careers in the NFL, bona fide NFL talents. And then some of these guys, like a year ago, wouldn't start on like some of the better high school teams in the country. And then they're like overachieving and then they're battling with these like great players. Like if you're watching that game last night, Lance, did you get to watch any of it?
I was in the NBA.
You're on the NBA grind. Well,
we got roles on this podcast.
Yeah, but a couple names to remember here. Okay, Bryce Lantz, brother of Trey Lance, Cowboys quarterback currently. So obviously, he's a decent fucking freak athlete right there.
Yeah.
Absolute baller, wide receiver. It'll be interesting to see what he runs. I talked to a buddy of mine that coached at North Dakota State. Just didn't know if he had the top end speed. So if he runs anything sub 4.5, that kid's getting drafted. He's going to be a damn good NFL player. Tommy Mellott played quarterback for Montana State. He's got no chance to be a quarterback at any next level, not even FBS football. But the guy's going to run like a 10-300 meter. He's going to go run a 4.39 at the combine. Like he's going to be a damn good slot receiver. Like remember the name Tommy Mellott. Very similar ride as Julian Edelman had. And then a handful of defensive linemen, a handful of offensive linemen, a nickel from North Dakota State. All these guys are going to be NFL guys. So cool watching that. And then a bunch of guys that, couldn't even be on the roster at friggin', Washington, let alone a perennial FBS school.
They're like the 5th year senior. This is their first year starting. They'd just been sitting there grunting away. And this is finally their shot. Hey, and those guys fight the hardest. Those are the guys you might want to be scared of the most because they have the most heart and the most passion.
These guys are doing NIL deals at freaking Kohl's and Shields and freaking different hardware stores. Like it's not
the local pub. They got a sandwich after them.
Yeah, do a little Quick and Go, a little whatever the hell that gas station chain is in the Midwest. That's all good stuff. The FCS format really seems like they got it locked in. I will say it is difficult if you were to try to compare it to FBS because, holidays, the viewer wants to watch football. Like they want to see the FBS and all that. But 100%. And I think what you do there, Lance, I think and honestly, I was a coach's kid, right? Like we played in, my dad was a coach and we did a couple holiday bowls, a Rose Bowl, where basically that became the holidays. We did Christmas in the hotel room, but those are fun trips. Like as long as you're playing for meaningful games, like as long as you're not playing in the Belk Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama on Christmas morning for nothing, then I think you get people to sign up for that schedule and be excited about it.
100%. And I that's where I'm saying, I think FBS should definitely take notes from FCS. But you brought up how the kids get to go home for Christmas. I was like, FBS, that's too serious. We need that prime time right in the holidays. Like, I know you miss a Christmas. I mean, hopefully you get a lot of them. I had to miss a Christmas once. It was a sad life. But no, No, if you can keep it on track in the holiday season, line it up with the NIL and get all the transfer portal nonsense out of the way before and just clean everything up, we can have a great product in FBS playoff. But just like you said earlier, it's going to take some time and probably way longer than it should. We probably won't see a good playoff. What do you think? 5 years?
I think it's 5 years away.
That was the number.
It'll take baby steps on its way from 5 years away. But like basically what needs to happen is all the commissioners need to come together and basically say, okay, we're going to get away from the group of five and we are going to disband from the NCAA and we're going to become our own governing body. And we're not going to basically, negotiate with Olympic sports or basketball or anything else. We're just going to be our own thing. But the thing that makes it so simple to me, if you go look at the FCS, they just have 10 or 11 conferences. So you don't need conference games because for the most part, you play round robin schedules and everyone plays everyone. Like in the Big Sky, you don't play 2 or 3 teams every year. So some years you miss out on some big important matchups. Like Weber State, Montana don't play each other every year, which are usually 2 of the better teams in the conference, which you need that. But that's where we're fucked up here is like within Division I football, we have group of 5, which is really group of 4, which is really group of 2 plus 2. And then you've got group of 5, but the group of the Power 5 plays the group of 5, and they'll also occasionally play FCS games. Like, can you imagine in baseball if like all of a sudden we were like, yeah, but 20% of our schedule is going to be against minor league teams, but we still get to go to the playoff?
No.
What the fuck is that?
Like, sorry, this whole thing's cracked me up. What the fuck is that? No, but you're 100% right, dude. There's a lot still lingering of just the past. There's so much of the past. You've said it perfectly on the show before. It's the bullet holes in the glass. We're using duct tape to try to just fix it. Guys, just fucking revamp the whole thing.
We need this over here. Okay, great. Let's stand that up. Oh, but wait, this thing that existed for 50 years, we got to get rid of it. It's unconstitutional. So we've got this thing built on rickety stilts and we're fixing everything with duct tape and freaking promises. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and you know what? We've been talking about FCS for long enough for me. I know you're the FCS guy, but now that we have FBS in the conversation, we have some playoff matchups coming up, Jack. We got some gnarly ones. The semifinals is going to be legit. It's going to be legit.
We're going to have to go NFL heavy on our Thursday show, but we're going to have to come back and just touch these quickly because I reserve the right to change my mind. Okay? No one placed these bets yet. We're going to wait on the lines and we're going to wait and make sure everyone's playing and shit like that. But as we sit here on a Tuesday, Lance, what do you think? I'm going Ohio State. I'm going Penn State.
Dude, it's disgusting. I'm on the opposite of both. And I want to tell you why first. You've gotten to go
first. Which game you want to start with?
I'm going to start with Ohio State, Texas, and mine's short. Okay. You've got the eye for this stuff. I'm just telling you what I see, and then tell me what you think. Okay. So I like Texas, obviously, +6 here. Ohio State's coming off back-to-back offensive masterclass performances, just absolutely full throttling the other team, SEC defense, Oregon's defense. And I know we can talk about the reality of the game, but Ohio State looked incredible on offense in both games. And I don't see that happening 3 times in a row, Jack. I don't think Will Howard has it 3 times in a row. I don't think that's what I got. I don't think Will Howard has that 3 times in a row. But now going back, because you'll be like, well, Texas just gave up however many points to ASU. I'm like, dude, it was 24-8 with 6 minutes left, and Sarkisian did, and Zach Taylor did it the other night. I mean, these coaches, they play so pussyfooted and so scared to go win games. They're trying not to lose. They're like, let's just run the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's play it safe. Oh, screen pass. They couldn't keep the field of possession. Scatabo had a heroic performance and made the game way scarier than it should have been. So those are my 2 sides. And I'm like, so I think Texas in this type of game, because this is going to be a dogfight. Both trenches are as real as they come in the NCAA. I think this stays close, and I like Texas +6 right now.
Well, let me say this. We agree on a lot, And I'm not set in stone on this. You just made a great case. It's tough to refute anything you just said. I'm just going to present more to the case. Let me first say this. Something we definitely agree on is the under 53.5 all day long.
Mm-hmm.
As we go through it, Texas's offense has had issues. They only put up 24 in regulation against ASU. Now, they missed 2 kicks. And they go into overtime at 31, but they housed a punt and then they score again in overtime. So their offense only put up 24 in regulation. They had a great day against Clemson in the first round of the playoffs. They put up 38. But before that, if you go back and look at the back half of the season for Texas, they only put up 16 against Georgia in regulation in the conference championship game. Only 17 against A&M in the last game of the season, and then only 20 against Arkansas 2 weeks before that. So now you're going to play against Ohio State defense that's been the best defense all year long, especially in scoring, where they've held at one point they were holding teams to under 10 a game. And they just held the fuck out of a really good Oregon offense that's got speed all over the place. Like, in a lot of ways, Oregon is Texas varsity, So I think Ohio State's defense is going to be in great shape. Now, I also agree with you, though, that I don't know that they go 3 for 3 on just the absolute masterclass. And it's right down the field, 75-yard, 5-play drive to start the game. And it's 17-0 to open it up. And just like that, Ohio State's the best team we've seen in the last 20 years, not coached by Nick Saban. So a lot of that to think about. I will say this, though. Between Henderson running the ball behind that O-line, the O-line got a little banged up, but now they look like they're fucking playing pretty good football. They dominated Oregon's D-line. The weapons and the speed on the outside, which now they've totally tapped into, led by Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Mbuka. And then now this balanced play calling of Chip Kelly, where we're not trying to beat Michigan at their own game, where we're spitting it on the outside. We're doing some fun things where we're getting guys clearly dialed up with scheme. Then we're coming back. We're letting Will Howard sort some stuff up. We're going with tempo. We're mixing it up. All that stuff. I do think Texas is going to be amongst the most athletic defenses they've played all year. And I think their deep front especially will keep them in this game a little bit longer than the Oregon game. But I do think it's a matter of time. Ohio State's going to get the ball with a reasonable field position, and they're just going to start to roll. And then it's going to be on Quinn Ewers to get them back in this game. And that's when you start seeing that second quarter of the Oregon game where it's like, oh, God.
Just, oh, God. Oh.
So here's what I got going. I got final score 34-13 Buckeyes going back to the national championship.
Wow. Okay, so a couple more things, because obviously you made damn good points. So the Oregon game, it's tough. Like, when has Ohio State's defense really been tested these playoffs? They haven't, because their offense has opened up these games and just blown the fucking doors off. Just blown the fucking, just absolutely beat. And it's a lot easier to play defense when they're trying to play catch up, rather than you know they're going to be slinging the ball rather than
100%. I'll say this: that Oregon didn't get past the 50-yard line until late in the second.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was the Oregon game was an ass whooping. I don't know, that was just a fucking belt to ass fucking boom.
And then obviously we just saw Michigan go beat Alabama. Now, weird game, not a playoff bowl game, always a little bit awkward. But like, Ohio State held that team to 13 points too. They get beat 13-10 or whatever that final score is. And then Ohio State went and beat Penn State this year on the road and held them to 14 or 17 or whatever that ends up being. So it's been an all-world defensive effort. It starts with their front, but then it's just like they can do whatever they want. It's just one of those dominant defenses. What a championship team looks like is having that defense, which is why I think the Penn State Notre Dame game gets so hard, because I think both those defenses can make that case too.
Yeah, no.
And you know what? Texas is on this list also. Texas's offense is just in a fucked up spot, whereas Ohio State's hot coming into this game.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're really right about that, because Ohio State, really, there's no reason. Right now, I'm going off a narrative that I'm betting that it's not 3 times in a row. And because if it's a defensive battle, that's different. Like, if both sides can't move the ball and it's kind of a slugfest, then we're right on the under and it's a close game. So it really is, it's tough. Does Ohio State drop 14 in the first 5 minutes of the game and it's just it's a cat and mouse game and it's never close? Or can Texas hang in there? They're in Dallas. It's the Cotton Bowl. It's fucking packed with orange, and Ewers and blue can run the football. We can move the ball, get it to our play. I don't know.
So here's where you got me getting a little nervous. One, obviously, Cotton Bowl. This game's getting played 3 hours from Texas's campus. And
yeah,
I'll be the guy to tell you, I went to school at SMU. We saw more Texas shit in the bookstore when I was going to school there. So they own the state. And then the other thing I feel like, to your point, to be suspicious of the offense rolling 3 for 3 here in these playoffs, I feel like I'm getting in line with every other fucking idiot to bet on Ohio State. I feel like every dumb guy is going to be like, are you kidding me? Have you watched them the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get in this Ohio State shit with all the just dumb fucks. Meanwhile, it's Texas all day. Texas actually comes out and wins this game because the SEC still is going to the national championship. That's the way it goes.
Wow.
So this is one I want to sit tight on until Thursday before we actually tell the people to lock a bet in, because I want to see if this line holds and where the public money is and all that stuff. Because I do feel like all of a sudden I'm at the party looking around going, this isn't that cool of a party. This sucks. Look at these squares.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Nothing would burn my soul more than being wrong and on the same side as Ohio State.
Oh, brutal. I hate the Ohio State.
You tuck the tail, you take Ohio State, and then it's just, and they, oh, no.
Someone needs to remind Ohio State, you're basically just Arizona State of Ohio, which makes you worse, by the way. I don't care about your history, your traditions, all of it. I like Jim Tressel. You shouldn't have fired him.
You're Arizona State of Ohio. That's a humbling statement. Yeah, I mean, they are. Why not? Why not? That's so funny.
It's Arizona State, Ohio State, and UCF are all in a big race to have the biggest undergrad student population in the country.
Is UCF that big?
UCF's gigantic.
Really?
Yeah.
The more you know. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I would have guessed a lot more schools before. I would have said like a Michigan. I would have said they're pretty big or something like that. But
UCF should have the best football in the country. They're just surrounded by Miami, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah, that's. Woo, you're not getting much out of those guys. They've already.
Good luck.
Yeah,
go nuts.
There's not much left in that pond. All right. Penn State, Notre Dame, Orange Bowl.
Okay, this one I am really, really flip-floppy on. So bear with me here. First, I'll just come out and say it. I don't want to hide the answer here. I'm leaning Penn State plus 2.5 right now. And I like the points, not the money line. Hear me out here. So James Franklin has never won this game. This is why James Franklin, a guy who's averaging like 10.5 wins a season, is somehow on the hot seat, because he has never, ever won this game against a team who might be a little bit better than him. When he's the underdog in these games, this is the game Penn State loves to lose. And then you go look at their track record, because they feel really hot coming into this game. We knew it a few weeks ago, and they had the easiest road to get to here. They had to beat SMU at home, an SMU team that shit down their leg, and Kevin Jennings, who looked like a Heisman hopeful for next year, looked like a pumpkin. Then you get Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, and Boise State hung in there. If their kicker can make some kicks, maybe we get a last possession type game. But they end up scoring late and icing that game and feeling good. But you beat SMU and you beat Boise State. You didn't have to go this route that Notre Dame just had to travel of beating Georgia in Atlanta. Like that's tough, or be in New Orleans. That's tough sledding. So it's interesting. But I say all that to say, but I have had a change of heart on Drew Aller. He's just been too good on 3rd and 4th down. Every single one of these games, he's just been too fucking money on 3rd and 4th down. And Riley Leonard was exceptional against Georgia, and he's been really good in this playoffs. But the second he gets internal pressure and shit's happening in his face, he's athletic when they're given called runs and he gets to go be a downhill straight line runner. He is not that athletic kid to turn over his shoulder and get out of trouble. And this front right now for James Franklin and Penn State with Abdul Carter and I'm forgetting the other dude, 14. Those two dudes are getting after it. everything I'm reading says Abdul Carter is going in this game and is going to be healthy. This feels like the all-time opportunity if Penn State was ever going to break through James Franklin. It's got to be right here. Then I go, Lance, and I look at this. Notre Dame put up 27 against Indiana, 23 versus Georgia. Only one offensive touchdown, by the way, in that Georgia game, and it comes on the late fumble in the first half when Georgia was pushing to try to go get some late points. They score on the next play after getting a short field. So you get 27 and 23. Another great defense here in Penn State, but Georgia and Indiana, 2 top 10 defenses all year as well. So let's give them 25 points on this game. Can Drew Aller and Tyler Warren go get you 23 to cover, 26 possibly to win? And by the way, if you look at the over-under number, which is 44.5, Vegas is telling you the final score is going to be 24-21-ish. So if we're going to get that game, do you want Drew Aller with the ball late to go cover for you on plus 2.5? Or do you want Riley Leonard with the ball late to get you a big-time first down and ice the game? As I sit here on Tuesday, Lance, I lean Penn State if we make the game in those terms.
You're 100% right. Drew Aller this year, I've talked a lot of shit on him. I've talked a lot of shit. I'm not a big fan. I don't think an NFL team should draft him, at least in the first round. Not in the first round. Maybe not second, maybe not third. I haven't really looked at it, but I know damn well he ain't one of the top quarterbacks. But third and fourth down, this kid just has heart. It doesn't even matter what the coach calls. He's going to do something. He's going to get the first down. The guy makes plays. It's just weird. It's bizarre.
Here's a fun stat, Lance. Last year, going into the postseason, Drew Aller had thrown 0 interceptions. So I think maybe something that's going on with him is he's ultra conservative and protective of the football. So first and second down, he's never pushing it. So he'll concede some sacks or he'll dirt a ball just to live to see third down. And then third and fourth down, when obviously pushing the ball downfield, having a turnover there is less costly. Now all of a sudden it frees him up mentally and he's able to just go play football because he's not a runner. When they try to design run him, it does not feel like something that should exist in nature. But his ability just to get that last 3 steps to get the ball out is like Mahomes-esque. It's that thing where it's just like that just ability to buy whatever amount of time you need to get the ball out.
Yeah.
Isn't it always crazy that Mahomes, like when they do that slow-mo thing, it's like his elbow is just clearing as he's getting hit every single time, no matter what. It's a joke.
No, I mean, dude, it's crazy. Aller, I mean, and I don't even mean to like bash the guy. I hope you have a great NFL career. I hope you do great things, kid. But like, there was so many moments this season, like against Wisconsin. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, this guy is not good. Like, this guy is pathetic. Or when they almost choked to Minnesota or whoever. I mean, but then you see him like these big games, and the guy's he just gets it done. I don't know. So it's a tough one, but I'm going to go into my thoughts about the entirety of the game. I'm going Notre Dame here. I just went on my spiel about Aller, but like we said, and like you were saying, their road was not, I don't want to say it was easy because nothing's easy in this world, but it was easier than the rest. It was the easiest on the board. They haven't played a real line of scrimmage yet. I don't consider Boise State as legit as Georgia or one of these top dogs. They were good and give them credit, but not one of these big dogs. And Notre Dame just they handled Georgia.
Georgia's a legit top 10 team. You played them in a neutral site, but leaned
in the
road
South
game more than it did neutral. And just went and handled them and kind of handled them at their own game. Like defensively were better. Short yardage situations were better. Honestly, preparation and just team that just executed better that day advantage Notre Dame, which is a rare thing against a Kirby Smart team with 2 weeks to get ready. Like that moment in the fourth quarter where they do the switcheroo on the fourth down, run the punt unit off and run the offense back on just to hard count them. Like, go watch now. Everyone in the country go install that into their shit right now. It's just good football, and it's something you don't see Georgia get beat on very often. It's as impressive. And to that point, Notre Dame's only loss still on the year comes against Northern Illinois. So let's call them 14-0 versus their best teams they've played this year. 3-0 against bona fide top 25 teams, top 10 teams. Then you look at Penn State, they're still 0-2 against the two best teams they played all year. They got beat at home against Ohio State, and they got beat neutral site against Oregon. Their playoff wins come against SMU and Boise State. Obviously, it just is what it is. Oregon and Ohio State are better than those two teams.
I don't know if this might be the first time in my life I've seen Notre Dame handle an SEC team like that.
It was
top SEC.
Yeah.
Top SEC teams.
You go back to I think 2012 season, 2013 when it actually got played, but 2012 season when it was Notre Dame, Alabama, that Manti Te'o Notre Dame team that
it was a mismatch.
Couldn't be on the field with them.
It was varsity JV.
It's a beautiful thing what the transfer portal does for depth and for all this stuff, because the superpower of SEC teams over the years has been their depth. Mm-hmm. It's been the fact that they can roll 8 defensive linemen in a game, and all of them are going to be NFL guys.
Yeah,
you're not 4 down, and then the second someone goes down, you got issues. So
you used to watch Saban, and he has just 10 just monsters just swarming around him while he's just 5'5" and all of it, just going back and forth. What the days, man? The days. Oh my God.
Dude, I remember the national championship they won against LSU, and they're standing on the stage after the game, and it's like Courtney Upshaw and just those fucking dudes. And I'm watching the game with my dad, who's the head coach at UCLA at the time, and he's watching it going, look at these fucking guys. We don't have one of those guys. It's just like, it's an unfair game, man. Everyone else is the Oakland A's when it was Nick Saban's Alabama.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I don't have one of these guys.
I don't have fucking one of these guys.
Oh my God. I mean, no, yeah. Thank God for NIL. And that's actually, this is a quick question, Jack, because this is something I was going to bring up, but I honestly forgot. What are your thoughts on Underwood making more money than Breece Hall's rookie contract? Underwood's the Michigan quarterback commit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Well, kind of a layered answer, because I think this is a bubble. I think this is getting outrageous, but I also think if you're going to do a junior NFL model, they should make probably basically 25% of what the NFL rate would be. Now, running backs are weird because you're not getting these guys, you're signing this contract, and the NIL deals don't necessarily exist in perpetuity. So if the kid gets hurt, the dirty secret of the NIL world, Lance, is 90% of the deals that get cut on NIL deals, the deal is not paid in full by whoever's to the athlete. The athlete rarely makes all the money that they think they're signing for on the NIL deal. So if you're a quarterback and you sign an $8.5 million deal out of high school to go be a 4-year guy at Tennessee, which is what they signed Nico for, it was $8.5 million, and you go down with an ACL your freshman year, well, they're under no legal obligation. I mean, good luck trying to see the end of that deal. So it's all a very, very shady world. But then within that, you're talking about a 19-year-old running back, in college football, how much of a difference maker the running back position is, and not by committee, but by just having a legit bona fide difference maker. There's a reason Aston Genty was invited to the deal this year. He's as valuable as they. So I don't know. I think it's a bubble, though. I just think the idea that Washington State has to fork over $1.2 million to pay their quarterback just to compete is crazy. The idea that Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma is getting $2 million from Auburn after going 6-6 at Oklahoma, and they were happy to see him leave. It's just, but that's the going rate. Otherwise, what are you going to do?
Yeah. How weird is the Arnold one? Wasn't Arnold benched against Auburn, or did he get hurt? Because I know the true freshman won the game.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the game.
Yeah, I can't
remember that crazy game. They
absolutely nuts. Auburn or Oklahoma came back and won it.
Yeah, with the pick six
and line.
Yeah,
we bet on Oklahoma.
We were on Oklahoma.
And it was Oklahoma -2, and I was like, how can that be? You gotta take it. And they came back and covered it. But yeah, dude, it's a weird world. Again, hopefully it's figured out within 5 years, but it's one of those things. I think we could figure it out in a fucking weekend if we just come with some open-mindedness.
Well,
and
yeah,
just to
well,
end our conversation,
oh, you're good. Keep going.
I was just going to say, going back to Penn State, Notre Dame, because you brought it up a little bit, the impressiveness in which Notre Dame beat Georgia, kind of beating them in the traditional way that the SEC teams of late have dominated non-SEC teams. Physicality, short yardage situations, execution, all that sort of stuff. As I look at this Penn State team, I can see them in those crucial situations having the advantage. I think Tyler Warren and that running game in short yardage situations, when you can get the extra blocker and you're trying to tackle that 6'6" motherfucker, like, I think Penn State can win on short yardage downs. And I think they're so damn athletic on the front. Maybe they win the physicality battle, but they can just be penetrative and create problems, make TreVeyon Henderson go, or not TreVeyon, make, gosh dang it, who's Notre Dame's running back?
Love.
Is it Love?
Yeah.
Love. Make Love go sideline to sideline, and all of a sudden now you got something. So I don't know. Again, I've flip-flopped on this 5 times. I will likely do it 3 more times before we come back for Thursday's show. But as I sit here today, I'm saying Penn State to cover. I'm saying Penn State money line, and I'm saying over. I'm saying Penn State wins this game 27-23.
Wow. All right. So, but not confirmed. We still have Thursday's show. So
that's how I feel today.
Yeah. Nothing in stone. Nothing etched in stone. I will say, the Leonard, Myers Leonard, was it? What is it? Myers Leonard? Who's the quarterback for Notre Dame?
Riley Leonard.
Oh,
Myers Leonard was the basketball player for the Heat that got suspended for doing something.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever his name is, Riley Leonard. He, I mean, it's not like looks like an NFL guy or anything, but he looks like he's a good college football game manager. Like, he's a good quarterback. Yeah. Like, he plays he doesn't do too much. Say it again.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, Indiana?
I thought he looked like shit against Indiana. I thought he was all world against Georgia. Yeah,
I mean, the Indiana game, that was outdoor in South Bend, like Friday night, first playoff game. I mean, jitters. And that's where I'm like, this game against Georgia, I'm like, I might be sold on Notre Dame. Like, I might actually, this might be the first time in my life I think Notre Dame has a chance to go win the championship.
His legs against Georgia were the X factor for their offense. And their offense obviously wasn't productive necessarily points-wise, but they flipped the field enough where you didn't have to go sitting there with Georgia with the ball and the 45 going in, and deal with that nightmare. So he was good. I do think, though, and it's crazy to say because it's a Georgia D-line, I think this Penn State D-line is the most disruptive D-line we've got in college football. I think Abdul Carter, and I'm forgetting his name, which drives me crazy because he's a freak. 14. Whoever 14 is for Penn State. I think those guys are that good. And Riley Leonard, I just noticed it a couple times in the Indiana game. When it's shit at his feet, when things are happening in front of him, he's not that great turn back or get off my back foot or turn over the back shoulder. Everything gets short-armed. Everything gets shitty. So if Penn State can just be disruptive, I think Notre Dame's offense is going to struggle, and I think Penn State, with enough time, is going to pull a couple tricks and do some stuff. Aller's going to be good on 3rd and 4th down. Tyler Warren's going to have over 100 yards, and all of a sudden, there you go. Penn State wins the game. Yeah.
I mean, one thing I do know for sure, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for that game. That game's good. I mean, both of them. It's just so that's where I'm like, I mean, everyone loves to complain, about the playoffs and all that and yada, yada. And I'm like, this is fun to watch.
Dude, I'm like, we got to stop talking about it. I'm already on my way of talking myself out of I'm like, because now I'm here. I was about to talk special teams. I'm sitting here going, fuck, Notre Dame was like flawless against Georgia. Like, so well coached, flawless execution. And then you got Penn State, who's had just the worst special teams fucking unit ever going for a while now. It'll be interesting. And Boise State's defense at time, like, they dropped a couple picks. Jesus Christ. I'm going to flip 5 more times.
Hey. We'll get to our tonight's picks and we'll talk about it Thursday. How about that?
All right, I got a couple college hoops picks tonight. First time on record on this show, I'm picking against SMU, but it's free money. It's free money. North Carolina basketball hosting SMU tonight. North Carolina's given 6.5 points to the Ponies. I hate it, but it's the absolute lock. SMU just ain't ready for this. First year in the ACC. They just got beat by Duke at home by 29 the other night. Now you want them in the Dean Dome against North Carolina team coming off a buzzer beater win and getting right now. A North Carolina team that's got 5 losses, but is definitely going to March Madness. Like, it's so North Carolina tonight. It's not even close. And if you need more incentive on that, 89% of the public is chasing the Ponies. So this is as locked as it gets. It's North Carolina. Second game I'm taking, again, I'm picking against my brother's team now, but Michigan plus 2.5 at UCLA. Michigan has been enjoying a sweet little vacation in LA. They beat SC on Saturday by 11, and they've just been living it up, enjoying their time away from the Michigan cold. It's been perfect in LA. Michigan, by the way, Lance, if you haven't watched them yet, legitimate national championship contender. Coach May's first year, who's the kind of overachieving guy at FAU, seems like an absolute sweetheart. He brought over a guy named Vladislav Golden, who's just an absolute menace. He looks exactly what his name sounds like. He's a 7'1" Russian guy who's absolutely just bodying people. And then they've got, Lance, this kid named Danny Wolf from Illinois, who's a 7-foot white kid. He's a point forward, and he is the smoothest fucking I don't know if he's Jokic or if he's the worst athlete ever, and so he's not an NBA prospect at all. But he just went for 21 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 blocks, and 2 steals against USC.
Oh my God.
And he's nice with it. He's top of the key throwing like the fucking those guys. Like, he's nice with it. And Lance, again, if you want more incentive on this pick, 82% of the public is on the Bruins tonight.
Wow.
Give me the Wolverines, baby.
You're on your fade shit today. He says, my team, nope. Joe Bag's team, nope. Public, nope.
It was that beautiful spot, Lance, where I liked the picks already, and then I was like, let me just go see if this will help my case. And both of them were like, they're locks.
Hey, I like it. I'm tailing. I don't know shit about college basketball, but I'm tailing those.
I can't even lay the SMU bet. It's free money, but I can't do it. It just goes against my religion.
I respect that. I salute that. For real.
Michigan might be a $200 slang for me tonight.
There you go. Yeah, I gotta make up for it somehow. All right. Mine's just 2-teamer, low parlay, NBA. I think this goes smoothly, but I mean, many things in my life that I thought were gonna go smoothly end up not going smoothly, going terribly. But Lakers money line at Mavericks. No Doncic, no Irving. End of story. Hawks money line at Jazz. It's the Utah Jazz, and the Hawks are actually pretty good. So I like the Hawks. There it is, folks.
Simple, eloquent, beautiful.
Right there. I was looking across the board, didn't love much, and then I was like, wait, I can just parlay these two, and we're looking good.
No, I have a bet.
So there it is.
Now I'm rolling.
Yep. Man, these playoff games.
Got good ones coming up. I needed that FCS teaser to get me through the week. I needed a little football, a little sweetener with no Monday Night Football going on.
Yeah.
And now we got we got to hang on until Thursday. But we get Thursday, Friday playoff football, Saturday, Sunday playoff football.
Wait, we get Thursday. Wait, is Thursday, Friday
college football?
Oh, that's amazing.
Thursday is Texas, Ohio State. Friday is Ohio State, Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Penn State. And then Saturday, divisional round, or wild card round. Sunday, wild card round. Monday, Rams, Lions.
I know. We might have to do an early show Monday, because I might have to sneak over to that Rams game, go see Rams house.
Kidding.
But man, I'm fired up for this weekend, and that means Thursday's show is going to be just beautiful, because we're going to cover all that and more.
We're going to do nothing but pick those games. We're going to go through and do our playoff bracket, and we're going to hammer the college football games and get the fuck off the air before that game kicks off.
Yep, exactly. All right, you want to hit the folks with the outro?
Of course, another fun day this Tuesday. Show, as always, is brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000 and walking out the door. Just ask our guy Dialed Picks on the show earlier today, celebrating another $2,700 won last night. Takes his grand total up to $25K. Let me repeat that, people. He won $2,700 fucking around on a Monday, and he's won $25,000 in the last 2.5 months. It's a hell of a way to close out 2024, Cade. 2025 is going to be all the same. I'm tailing the hell out of your cards until the wheels fall off. Special shout outs to the boys and girls of Wanna, Carson, Jim, Bob, James, Nicole, Sean, Homegirl, Anna, Andy. You guys are the best. You guys are absolute fuel behind this great machine of Lantz and mine. Much appreciated from all you guys. We had some great shout outs today. Obviously had Cade on the show to talk about his success. Good to see you, Dialed Picks. Doorman, hoping to get him on the show later this week. He's won over $1,000 messing around last night. A couple other people, Toman27, our guy Thomas that we talked to last night, wins another 225. We got to go check out. Long Legs is staying hot. Viviana, quit ducking us. We need you on the show, girl. And then last little reminder here before we let you guys go. Special reminder from our guy, KG over there at Little Joe's. Trying to find my motherfucking notes. This February 10th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you're in the Chicago area or just flat in the United States or in the Western Hemisphere, get your ass over to Little Joe's, where Wanna will be co-sponsoring the Drop Takeover. It is back and bigger than ever. Arthur and Bob are behind the bar pouring drinks and swapping stories. KG is in the kitchen whipping up his famous jambalaya, beef sandwiches, and those insane Taylor Street sliders. Get there, download Wanna Parlay, win some money, drink some tequila, have a slider, 9 of them. Thank you, Kev. We will see you there. Good stuff. Good Wanna Parlay podcast this January 7th.
Oh, well, folks, we will be back here Thursday, 3 p.m. Western, Pacific. And yeah, we'll see you then. See ya.